My volume good?
You are good, my friend, and welcome to our first episode of Real Men Talk. I'm Mark Clark, and of course, Stan is in St. Louis. What's up, Stan? How you doing, bro?
I'm good. Mark, how's everything out there?
Man, I can't complain. And this is I'm so excited, Stan, because for 2017, we wanted to finally do something together. And I surprised you because I said, let me hit Stan even before the new year starts so we can get this thing started. So, man, for those who don't know who we are, my name is Mark Clark. I'm a radio host, family guy, and friend to Stan. Stan, tell them who you are.
Hi, guys. I'm Stan Leroy, Mark Clark's best friend. Although a lot of people don't know about me, I'm in St. Louis. I'm a certified clinical nutritionist and health coach, and I was Mark's trainer before he batted up out of here back in 1999, a day before my birthday. I'll never forget that. I always remember that. You voted out of here a day before my birthday, October the 7th, 1999. We haven't been able to get together and do much until I come out there to visit. But that's who I am, guys. I'm Mark's bestie and his ex-trainer. But I thank you guys for allowing me this time to speak with you and for me and you, Mark, to get together and do something because I'm looking for greater things in 2017 because 2016 I've been blessed, but it's been a pretty up and down year,
And Stan, in addition to being, best friend and former, always, almost my trainer, Stan is like the real. I'm blessed because as I think about it, Stan, I actually do have some amazing friends in my life, and I have men in my life like you and Tony and others who are a little older, but almost fill that space of big brother slash dad slash when I have to ask some information. I think a lot of brothers don't have that. And I'm talking about the kind of brothers who it's not that man stuff, it's real love. Stan and I have no problem saying how much we love each other. And Stan's the kind of brother that he will keep it all the way real. And, I think men need that. And I think, sadly, a lot of men don't have that guy to go to, and I feel blessed because I have a couple different ones. And Stan, one story I always tell people is one time Stan visited me, hadn't seen me for a while, and we hung out for the weekend. And as he was getting ready to head back to St. Louis, we actually said goodbye. And then Stan called me and said, hey, man, I need to talk to you about something. So when he came back, I was kind of like, didn't know what to expect. And that's when Stan told me, he said, look, man, I've been watching you this weekend and I couldn't go back home without saying this. You got to get your health in order. I've been watching how you move. I've been watching how you're breathing. And if I have to come up here at least, once a month to work out with you, I'll do it. But you got to get control of this. And I remember how emotional I was when you told me that, Stan. And it really changed my life. And I started getting back in shape. But I just thought that was special that a lot of friends would have just kept it moving, but you're like, nah, I got to tell them this. And again, I think real men need not only to be that person, but to have that person in their life,
Yeah, I remember that. That's when me and a friend of mine, Kim, we came up there to see Neo. Yeah, Neo, it was Neo and Jordan Sparks, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And I remember that very well. And it's, like I said, you're blessed to have men like that in your life, And the young gentleman that's seeking, they're seeking men as an example of who they are supposed to grow into, and the men are just not present. They're out here, but they're far and few in between. And I understand the plight of the young males, because the role models are far and few in between. So when it's come to talking, man, it took me a while to grow into my manhood, because, gosh, I'm 37. I was 37, 38 years old and still walking around as a male, but I had no concept of what a real man was about, So I'm glad I can be that one of those guys in your life, man, and I need those guys in my life also, those role models or what have you. They can be younger than me, they can be older than me. It doesn't make a difference. A man's a man. When he steps into his manhood, he's a man. You know, my workout partner now, man, he's 24 years old, and I admire this young man because I see me when I was 24. He's strong, he's intelligent, he's quiet, you know. That was me when I was 24. So that's basically why he was my workout partner, because I want to catch me when I was that young and instill me right now into his life while he's young. You know? So it's just one of those things. And, you know, as we were talking before we started this cast, we're going to deem this podcast Real Men Talk, you know, because real men do talk. You know, males don't talk because they don't know what to say and how to say it and how they're going to be perceived. So, I'm thankful for this moment, man, and let's do this thing. You know,
so Stan,
it's very well needed.
I hit you expressing, you know, now that my oldest is starting to date, she's 16, and I was looking at these pictures of one of her little friends, and I told you, I said, Stan, I'm looking at these pictures, and my conclusion is these brothers who don't smile are hiding something. And you said, yeah, they probably are. But you explained, Stan, that when a man doesn't smile, that, you know, there's some things going on. And you just broke it down for me. Share what you said to me, man, on that occasion.
Well, basically, rehashing what our conversation last week. Well, that was probably earlier this week. Was last week. When you said that he doesn't smile, he's probably hiding something. As a father of 3 daughters and many granddaughters, you know, I understood where you're coming from because we're guys. We're guys, and we know how guys are, regardless of how young they are, how old they are. We're guys. And when we concluded that maybe he's hiding something, I said, yeah, well, maybe he is, you know, because when you met me, you know, I didn't smile. You know what I mean? Like you said, you was kind of suspect of me, you know, and because I didn't smile until you got to know me, and then you realize, oh, this guy laughs and goofy and smile. He does everything, you know. But what it is everybody deals with something that they don't want anybody else to know about, you know, and we call those insecurities, you know. I don't care how tough you are, how big you are, how outgoing you are, how beautiful you are. We all have those secret insecurities that we don't want to share with no one, you know. And I reflect back when I was younger, you know, I didn't smile. Even when you met me, I didn't smile a lot. You know what I mean? Because I'm dealing with things on the inside of me that's strictly private, you know. And I want to put out this persona that everything's okay when it's really not okay, you know. And I don't know no one in the continental U.S. that doesn't go through anything like that. You know, like I told you, I didn't smile a lot because I had an insecurity of my mouth. Because when I was a young man, being rough and tough out in the streets with no father figure in my life, I was somewhat of, you probably want to call me a thug, you know, but I was a cool thug, you know. I was the type that would help the neighbor take her groceries in the house or whatever, protect the ladies in the neighborhood, but I was still a thug because I was lawless, you know. And the police got a hold of me one day, and I was fighting them and, you know, saying bad things to them, and they beat me up really bad and knocked my teeth out. You know, and from the age of 17, I had to go to the dentist and get a partial in my mouth. And I was insecure of my teeth and my smile, you know. And from that point on, I did not like the police. So that was something I was dealing with. A young man in the streets, no father figure to show him how he's supposed to conduct himself out in public. Police beat me up. I hate the police. I'm wearing false teeth now. So these are insecurities, you know what I mean? And plus, I wasn't the best looking guy at 17 years old. So we deal with all these insecurities that we don't want to share with nobody, you know, and that's, we don't know what that young man's dealing with, you know what I mean? He can be handsome as all outdoors, but still have those insecurities, just like the pretty girl, you know what I mean? Pretty girls, have insecurities. The most handsomest guys have insecurities, and you would think they had the whole world at their beck and call, but, you know, it doesn't always work out like that. I was engaged to a very, very pretty girl. Matter of fact, this New Year's will be our first anniversary. I got engaged New Year's Eve last year, this year, and we're not together. You know what I mean? So go figure. She was pretty as all I know, but I had to learn, stop telling her she's so pretty. Just show her. You know what I mean? And she had a problem with people telling her how beautiful she is and all of that. Why? Because as we went on, we talked intimately, and I got to learn about some of her insecurities. No wonder and I figured she didn't like being told she was gorgeous all the time. So people deal with different type of insecurities in their life. So we don't know what that young man was going through, you know. But that was our take. Just to cut it short, that was one of our takes that we talked about the other day. And you asked me about your daughters, and I said, hey, man, they're going to grow up. The world is theirs. The world is out there waiting on them. You as a parent have to trust what it is that you put in her all those 18 years. You put it in her to lead and guide her for when she leaves your house. Now it's time for you to trust what you and Allison put in her. And that's it.
That was perfect, man. It was perfect. It was right on time. And it was interesting because I needed it to hear it from you. You know what I'm saying? I needed to hear it from somebody I respected and loved, and also a guy. Again, you cracked me up, Stan, because when you said I used to be that kid. You said another word, but it was real. And so Stan, again, when me and Stan started our relationship, at first Stan was my trainer, and you know when you train somebody, you get close to them. And again, Stan, I remember. Stan, at one point, you know, you had all these clients, and it took a lot out of you because you don't just train people. You really get to know them. You end up being their counselor, and you had like 25 people. You're like, man, I got to get into this corporate thing because I'm getting run down. But you really give a lot, even from when Stan stretches you. When Stan stretches you, he's giving you a full scale $150 stretch that most places charge for. And I had to laugh, Stan, because when I was in Baltimore, I had this trainer, and she was also a masseuse, but she was hesitant to give me a massage, and I had to laugh because I was spoiled because you added that as just a part of your thing, you know what I mean? And she said, nah, you're big, and it's going to be a lot of work, and blah, 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 blah. And I said, man, Stan could actually charge for the stretching he does for people. But that's another side note. So, Stan, we got into the other part I love about you, man, is your information about nutrition. And so I told you a friend of the family's brother had a heart attack. He's about 56, in great health, and he was blindsided by this heart attack. And so his brother, who's a psychiatrist, he said he went to the heart doctor, he got on those statins, and he was really pushing statins. And I told him, because you told me about how statins can rob your body of nutrients. And he said, well, his doctor friends who are cardiologists, they take the statins because heart attacks oftentimes strike and are pretty deadly, like around 85% of the time the first heart attack takes you out. But you countered and said, yeah, that's true, but you got 29 other organs to consider. Tell us your take on the statins versus, heart attacks.
Well, basically, my take and my studies lead me to be thoroughly convinced that statins are the worst drug ever created. Statins are very, very horrible drugs. Because, like I said, they rob the body of so many other nutrients, vital nutrients that's needed. And at the same time, the statins are designed to lower cholesterol and triglycerides, which they do that. But at the same time, they're robbing your body, especially your heart, of essential nutrients to keep it healthy. They rob you of B-complex vitamins. They rob you of L-carnitine, which is the essential amino acid. And we need B-complex vitamins to help the body convert food into energy, which helps the heart work more effectively. But if our main objective is to take these statin drugs to get your cholesterol and triglycerides down to keep you from having a heart attack, but on the flip side of that thing, the drug is robbing your heart of all these essentials to keep it strong and healthy so that it may last another 20, 30 years, opposed to trying to clear up the cholesterol. You got to understand something. Back in the 1930s, the pharmaceutical doctors, pharmaceutical companies came up with a great scheme. People were walking around with a cholesterol level of 260, 280 all day long, and were healthy and functioned properly. Heart attack rates were not as high. But the pharmaceutical company and the powers that be figured if they're the money, that's one thing, they're the money. If they figure if we can redo the cholesterol scale and sell it to the people, meaning convince the people, therefore we'll gain another 9 million clients overnight. So what they did is they redid the cholesterol scale, saying that your total cholesterol should be under 200, your triglycerides need to be down to a certain level. If not, you're going to have a heart attack. That's how they got the numbers. Remember this, people. Doctors don't treat you. Doctors don't treat patients. They treat numbers. Everything about us is a number when it comes to the doctor's office. Your blood cholesterol numbers, your PSA numbers. Everything is about a number. Doctors very seldom listen to you, but they pay strict attention to the numbers. You get me? It's all about numbers. And remember, money is signified by a number. It's all about the money. We're in a public health crisis right now. It's profit versus humanity. It really is. You know, medicine used to be science. It's not science anymore. Medicine is all about money, profit nowadays. But B-complex vitamins, L-carnitine, D-ribose, and magnesium. Remember that. Magnesium is principal when it comes to keeping your heart healthy, along with B-complex vitamins. It helps push energy into it helps the mitochondria push energy into your cells so that it can convert the food matter into energy. But if the heart is being robbed on the flip side of the statin drugs, guess what? That's the oxymoron. It's not working. By the time you get your cholesterol down, you're going to be so weak and tired and frustrated. Trust me, everybody that's on statins, I guarantee your energy level has dropped tremendously since you've been on statin drugs. Give or take 45 days or more. You're as tired, you don't have as much energy, and your legs are a lot weaker since you've been on statin. Do your homework. It's very important. I take 1,500 milligrams of chelated magnesium every day. I take L-carnitine every day with D-ribose in it. These are things I take every day. And I also take what's called beta-glucans, okay? I just turned 57 years old. Got to be at the gym here in the next 45 minutes, like clockwork. But my thing is, I'm trying to keep my heart healthy because being a big guy, not fat, but being an ex-powerlifter and bodybuilder, you got to understand the heart is a muscle too. And anytime you put stress on that muscle continuously, that muscle going to grow. Don't make a difference if it's biceps, back, shoulders, or your heart muscle. Remember, the heart muscle is the only muscle in the body that never stops working, and you don't want it to stop working. And the more you work out and that heart pumps blood at a rapid pace when your heart rates up, that the walls of your heart is getting thicker and thicker and thicker. So therefore, it needs more nutrients and nutrients and nutrients because it got to pump oxygen and blood from the top of your head to the soles of your feet. So that muscle there, we have to pay strict attention to it. Do your study on the statin drugs. They're the worst drug ever created. But the magnesium is efficient. You got to keep magnesium levels in the body. Drop your magnesium level and get deficient in it and see what fibromyalgia and all other diseases set in because magnesium is the third most abundant mineral in the body. But it's effective. It's effective in 62 other functions throughout the body. And that's 62 of them. And then you got your energizers, your L-carnitine, your D-ribose. These things right there. And a lot of people never heard of D-ribose.
Right.
Do your homework on it, people. It's essential. But I would rather keep my cholesterol levels in check, because my cholesterol levels are not that important to me. It's my triglyceride levels that's important to me. Triglyceride levels are basically the measurement of fat in the blood. Now, if your triglyceride levels are high, that means you got a lot of fat in the blood is thick, and just figure if your sugar levels is high. So that's why 80% of diabetics die of heart failure. Why? Because the sugar levels have been high over a period of time. Their triglyceride levels are high. That means the blood is got too much fat in it, and you expect your heart to pump like this 24/7. My dad died of cardiac arrest. He was a diabetic, didn't take care of himself. So look here, that's not coming knocking on my door, buddy. I'm not going out like that.
So Stan, okay, so if your triglycerides are high, give us 3 things we should do to try to nip them in the bud. And then if our sugar levels are high, also same thing.
What I recommend if your triglyceride levels are high, number one thing to do, start moving. Start moving more. Number 2, cut back on all. Look at this. Eating fat does not make you fat. Period. Eating processed carbohydrates and inactivity makes you fat. And I mean fat, overweight-wise, and your heart. It really does. A muscular heart and a fat heart is totally different. I would start moving. I would cut back on the animal product. And definitely, if it's in a box or a bag and you can open it and start eating it, cut way back on those there. Those processed carbohydrates is what's killing America, and inactivity. 30 years ago, we used to get paid to stand on our feet and do work, factory work, moving around. Now, today, we get paid to sit on our butt for 8 hours a day, 40 hours a week. That's when the obesity level shot up, the obesity rate shot up, heart attack rate shot up. Everything went up when people started working on computers, going into cubicles, sitting down 40 hours a week. Everything skyrocketed, man, because we're not moving anymore. The body was designed to move. If you can move your arm, your shoulders on a socket, you can move your body every which way you can. It was designed to move. And when you don't train your body the way it's designed, you're going to have problems. But those are the things that's my pet peeve with the statin drugs, man, because they're the worst drug ever created. It robs you of essential energy. And your body, and look, you got over 6 trillion cells in your body. When those cells don't open up to receive the glucose, guess what? They start to die off. They start to starve themselves. They start to die. That's called apoptosis, the death of a cell. So if your cells are starting to die, that means you're starting to die too. Why? Because they're not getting the energy. You're not as energetic as you used to. Why? What are you doing different? I'm taking statin drugs. Just to get your cholesterol down? No, all you got to do is start moving, cut back on the processed carbohydrates. It's not eating fat doesn't clog your arteries. No. Nowadays, it's the processed carbohydrates, the fast foods. And most fast food is a fast food product, not a fast food. There's no way you can buy a real hamburger for 49 cents. It's not meat. It was created in a laboratory. Those are the things that raises triglycerides and blood sugar, So if we can do our homework on statin drugs, that's my take on it. There's so many ways to get those cholesterol levels normal. And what's normal? If you're a person that, now we got to consider hereditariness too. Also, now if heart disease runs in the family, and most heart diseases runs through the women's line, If heart disease runs in the family, I think you should stay on top of your cholesterol and triglycerides. It's definitely best that you stay on top of that. But if heart disease doesn't run in the family, your triglycerides are high, start moving. Cut back on all the bad foods, the cakes, the pastries and stuff. Those will really shoot your triglycerides and your cholesterol levels high. So that's my take on those statin drugs, and the individual that had a heart attack and he's taking the statin drugs. Don't give me no statin drugs. Let me get to moving. Let me do Bragg's apple cider vinegar. Yeah, I plug Bragg's. Bragg's apple cider vinegar 2 to 3 times a day. First thing in the morning, 3 ounces of water, tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. In the midday, and especially at night. Because what you put in your body last thing at night, your body takes that and works with it while you're sleeping. And Bragg's apple cider vinegar does lower cholesterol. It does lower triglycerides. And it sends high blood pressure back to hell where it comes from.
Well, Stan,
and these are simple things. We just not educated. And then again, we rather somebody else educate us than we get in there and do the legwork ourselves.
Well, look, you got you, Stan. And in 2017, we need to get this book out because you are a source for us to cut through all the BS. So let's wrap it up, Stan. Any last thoughts for 2016?
One thing I want to say is, since this podcast is going to be labeled Real Men Talk, I want to say this here. I've been writing a book for the last couple of years, and I need to, like you said, I need to go on and finalize. The name of the book is Until You've Been Inside a Man. And this goes back to talking about men and males, the male versus the man. You know what I mean? It's called Until You've Been Inside a Man. And I tell people, men cry all the time. Real men cry all the time. And I heard that the young lady Monique say when she had her show a couple of years ago, she said there's nothing wrong with tears coming from a man as long as his heart is crying. As long as the tears are coming from a man's heart, step back and listen to it. And that's real talk there, brother.
Love it. I love it. All right, Stan. All right, my brother. Well, 2017. So in going in, we're going to do this once a week. Thank you for listening. Yeah. We are looking for sponsors. We're looking to actually get on a tour and go to your city and have the Real Men Talk seminars. So we got a big year planned for 2017, Stan. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. I am ready to put 2016 behind me, and I thank God for allowing me to exist throughout this 2016. And I'm looking for big things in 2017. First from heaven, because without heaven, I can't do nothing.
Amen.
So I'm looking for big things to happen, man. I just keep my nose to the heavens and pray and stay thankful. That's it.
Stan, so we got to get your social media too, man. Are you Twittering yet? Are you on Twitter yet, man?
I tell people all the time, look here, I am a very sociable person, but I'm not a social media type of guy. You know what I mean? I'm on Facebook, but I don't do Twitter yet, And but I'm sitting in my office now. My living room is my office. I'm single. I can do that. You know what I mean? My living room is my office, and I'm always studying and everything. And I'm writing it down on paper. I'm doing a book. I'm going to do a electronic book, an e-book, and that's going to really be popping. As of February 1st, it'll be out.
Okay.
You guys got to get my e-book. Lots of information.
Awesome. All right, my friend. All right, then. We will see you guys next listen. This is Real Men Talk with Stan and Mark. Have a great one. We'll talk to you soon.